And look a little bit for the mic to come off there. G'day ladies and gents, how are we all doing today? Just make sure I've got all my chat frames and everything else up at the moment so I can actually see what you're all saying. For the mic to come off there. G'day ladies and gents,
I can hear myself.
How are we all
what the
doing
hell have
today?
I done?
Just make sure I've got all my chat frames
At least I
and
know I
everything
sound
else
good.
up at the moment so I can actually see what you're all
Nope,
saying.
nope, that's not what I want.
I can hear myself. What the hell have I done?
There, that's the window it's on. God damn it.
Oh, it was gonna happen. It was gonna happen. After the day I've had today, it was gonna happen. How you doing, gents? Hey. Go easy, go easy. Needed coffee. I can't, trust me. Today, I can't do this without coffee under any normal day. Today, I definitely can't. I was up to 5 a.m. doing classwork, trying to get everything all done, get an assessment that I thought was overdue, finished in time so I could actually, hand it in and, not fail my course and all that kind of bullshit. And so, yeah, up till 5, out of bed by 7, all the crap organised, into the car, get into the class, and not only did I find out that it wasn't actually due today, and I had a couple of days left to finish it, but the teacher wasn't even there to hand it into in the first place. So, yeah, I've been walking around for most of the day feeling like Patient Zero in the zombie apocalypse. So, yeah, it has been fun. Alright, let's get rid of that. I don't think I need that. So I'm just getting all my windows organised on this end, guys. I do want to be able to see the quality of the stream, which actually seems to be relatively stable at the moment. Let's just hope it bloody stays there. That would be really, really friggin' nice. Okay, so... Oh, shit, now I've lost my chat window. I am demonstrating the unprofessionals right here, right now, live. There we go. Okay, now I can actually check out what's going on. Alright, so today we are playing Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Or at least we're going to take a little bit of a look at it. I am recording this live 1080p. This is going to get uploaded to YouTube later on tonight as well. You guys know the drill at this point. So a couple of things I want to go through first in regards to this. This is still heavily in development. The campaigns are not available for it at this time, and you basically have 21 missions you can play in the Naval Academy up here, and that is it. Now, the catch on this is, while it can, of course, be pre-ordered to play, there's 2 versions. One is, I think, about $25 US, and that will get you a pre-order and a Steam key when it comes out on Steam next year, but won't let you play it in alpha. You've got to pay basically $50 US if you want to be able to play it in alpha. I like this game. I've been having a lot of fun with it, but $50 to play the alpha at this point I don't actually recommend. So I'm going to say that straight off the bat. At least not while there's only 21 missions available at this time. What's here is incredibly fun, but it's 21 missions and that's all you've got. So I put it on your list of games to follow. As you'll see, you will make the decision yourself, but I recommend you put it on the list of games to follow. But unless you're really, really, really interested in it and you just cannot wait, just follow it for the moment, I think. Floating hotel, wonder where I've seen that connection to French warships. Deploys are not always subside. Ship on the stream kind of looks like a Kawashi or Nasu. Well, you'll see in a moment. There's a reason why I put KSP warships or KSP battleships in the game. So, Naval Academy. We have a whole bunch of essentially scenarios here that get more and more complex as time goes on. I see I've done a few of them. I keep in mind I've only started playing this about 5 hours ago at this point. So, I'm still learning a bunch of the tricks here. What you end up doing is you build your own battleships. You don't pick one, you're not assigned one, you actually build one. So I'll do unidentified, undefended convoy attack. You can build an expensive battle cruiser or create a flotilla of cheaper cruiser types. Your mission is to destroy the convoy within a short time limit. So we have 17 minutes to sink the entire fleet. The enemy is immobile, so this is basically just a practice round. The enemy has 10 inches max armor. The enemy will not shoot any weapons. Both sides will not shoot torpedoes. Okay, so we're going to do that one, because that's the next one on the list. We have 24 million to play with, and we have access to battlecruiser, heavy cruiser, and light cruiser hulls, of which we will be able to build X amount within our budget limits. And then you get a bonus down here, which will give you access to new technologies, or access to some new technologies depending on what you pick. So, guns and fire control. We will unlock one component and we get the bonuses on screen, which is a reduction in reload time, increase in aiming speed, or decrease in aiming speed, or increase in aiming speed, things go faster. Base gun accuracy, gun long range accuracy, accuracy penalty from bad weather, blah 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 blah. This one here plays with shells and torpedoes, torpedo launchers. I was pretty sure it said we weren't going to be able to fire them. Alright, maybe we'll be able to fire torpedoes, because we've got a bonus here directly for torpedoes, and access to 3 million more funds. We'll go with guns and fire control for a start. Alright, so everything still seems to be good here. Cool. Alright, so this is our port screen and our hull. So we have access to battlecruiser. We've got an armoured cruiser hull, semi-armoured cruiser, and we can go down to light cruisers. Each one comes with a different maximum weight, so 20,000 tons on here. Light cruisers drop down to 5,500 tons maximum. We can adjust the displacement in order to be able to play with the weight, but that will, of course, play with the cost. So everything becomes a balance, and you're starting to see where the KSP type stuff comes into balancing, like you would in KSP, the size of the rocket versus the fuel load versus the Delta V. You're working on very similar ideas here, but you're building battleships instead. So we're going to build one big battlecruiser for a start. So for starters, we're going to want some towers. So we've got access to two, Advanced Tower and Advanced Tower 2. Obviously, the higher level ones you get increase your aiming speed, detection range, so on and so forth. Damage control, communications, the works. 875 tons for the Advanced Tower 2. And 900,000 credits on its own. 475 tons and 435,000 credits. So I'm going to go for the cheaper one for a start. Alright, so that gets rid of our first one. Now we need a secondary tower at the rear. And I think I'm going to just go for a rear tower 3. We're going to keep the towers here relatively cheap. Now, the position, the spacing and where you place things down the hull will actually change your weight balance. So you can see we're aft weight offset 0.7. This is perfectly within the balance for the ship at this point, so it's not a problem. If this goes red, you've unbalanced the ship. You're going to have to move all the parts until it's all sorted out. And chat doesn't appear to be moving for some reason, so just making sure that's actually working. You're all being too quiet. Talk, goddammit. Alright, so towers are in place. Won't worry about the funnels yet. I'll play with the engines first. I'll play with the engines later. We'll go main guns. So centerline guns, side guns, we've got options here. Centerlines. Enemy ships are only going to have 10 inches of armor. So I don't really need anything above 11 inches, although putting a big 16 on this thing would be... Like... Okay, that's a little ridiculous. We're not going to go that big. Something 11. 3 barrels, 11 inches... Yeah, that's respectable. Now we've got a couple of mounting positions here. Yeah, about there. Second one up, I reckon. Just got to work out the balance. 4 weights transferred far by about 7%, so that's okay. Let's do the same thing again for the rear. Same gun, just behind the rear. aft offset 4.9. See, we're a little bit far back on that gun, I think. So if we bring this gun up forward 2, maybe? No, we can still only mount the rear gun at that position. There's only 2 spots for it, but we can access the second one at least. But we're down under 1%, so we're actually nice and balanced there. So that's okay for this one. We are getting up on the weight, though. We're up to 19,000, so we're going to probably have to increase the displacement on this thing. Secondary guns. What have we got in the way? Where can we mount a pair of twin 8 inches? We can fit them on the sides. How much is this going to put us over, though? Oh, that's not bad. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. That works. Alright, we'll stick with that. Casemates. Why are these all locked out? Maybe I'm going to have get some 3s up there. That's really it for the casemates. Okay, so... And... nothing else. Just forward guns, rear guns. That's all we can get on this one. This is actually a fairly restricted hull overall. Nice. Ah, no. We're just looking too big. Alright. We'll put the 3s. 3s won't go. We can fit 2s though. And we can fit a lot of 2s. Alright, so these will double up. Front, what are we at? 19.5. Yeah, we have to increase displacement because we still haven't got the funnels on yet. And... oh, nope. Hang on. Oh, there we go. Okay, that will work. Funnels. Ooh, look at some new options here I haven't actually seen. Feels like I'm watching a do-it-yourself World of Warships ship. Yes, it did actually occur to me that there's definitely a bit of that mixed in too. Although the battles are far less arcade. They're actually pretty slow. We're probably going to have to use some time acceleration here. Large, wide, medium. I'm going to look at weights here. I don't want to increase the displacement too much if we can avoid it, because this thing is going to cost us... already costing us 38% of our total budget, and I wouldn't mind getting a couple of smaller ships to go with it. Mediums, wide, standards. 450 tons at 75k a pop for standards. And that gets us 1% overweight. Now, I want to play with a couple of other parts down here too, which we might be able to correct this on. Negative 5% on armor weight, plus 25% on armor cost. So it'll make the ship slightly more expensive, but plus 40 on armor strength. So we will take that one, and that gets us below weight, which is good. Because we want to do... engine cost is going to go up too much. 35. 12 horsepower per ton. Turbines would be nice, but plus 350% on engine cost to change up to a turbine build, so I don't think we will. Only going to be 60% here, we get a little bit more out of it. Take that. Now, the options we've got here, I should probably go over them, my bad. So obviously we have different engine options here, and each one of them has their own buffs and costs associated. So if we go up here to Diesel 2s, negative 30% engine weight, it's a little bit lighter, so you can drop the overall weight of the hull, and it can carry more fuel storage. The engines are more survivable to damage. Ship repairs are a lot faster, and they've got a fairly high horsepower per ton. But it increases the cost of the ship's engine by 250% of standard. You go up here to your gas turbines, which are even better again. They also increase the acceleration of the ship by 30%. So you're looking at 26 horsepower per ton, so the thing will fly but 650% engine cost, and you've got to balance that out. Some engines will be a little bit heavier, some will be a little bit lighter. You can play around with a whole assorted set. You can play with your fuels, so you can go run on coal, semi-oil, or you can flick over to full oil on some ships if you have access to the right parts. Auxiliary engines, just in case. You can play with the prop shafts, and everything will add a plus or a minus to the overall costs and setups of the ship. And what you use will obviously change your overall cost, and it depends on how much you actually have available in order to be able to build other ships. The campaign for this, once it's actually available, as I understand it at this point, will actually allow you to run a full campaign on ships that you've completely designed. However, they will cost you money to build, and if they're destroyed, they're gone. So you'll have to maintain your own ships that you're building and build ships specifically for what you need. So basically, it's so far a toy box making warships with a rather wild options available. Yep, pretty much. And it's a hell of a lot of fun, especially once we get into battle. I'm just trying to sort out this because, well, I suppose they're not going to be shooting back at us, so it doesn't really matter. So I'll just quickly run over the rest of the options. So you can change the thickness of the barbette, install anti-torp defenses, change from a single hull to double and triple hulled, change your bulkhead types in order to reinforce more. You'll see that in game, the effect of that and damage. Anti-flooding, you can change your citadel types and how well they defend. You've got your different shell types, so you can have light, standard, heavy, and super heavy shells, and then even go further into the type of shell load that your ship will actually carry. Obviously, carrying more ammunition means you're carrying more powder, which means on a penetrating hit, you're more likely to go up. Same thing with torpedoes, 15-inch torpedoes. You can have up to 22-inch torpedoes on this particular hull. What hull you have will vary what options are available. Installing hydraulics onto the turrets so they rotate faster, or getting up to electrical hydro. Auto loaders or enhanced loading. Play with the range, play with your radio equipment. Adjust the individual armor points on every section of the ship to, how thick is your deck armor, how thick is anything on the ship to it, and it'll all change your stats down this side, which is the overall assembly of your ship. This one, I don't think we're going to play much more with at this point. We're well within our budgets for everything, so we'll build one of these. Actually, we can build two of these. Yeah, no, we'll just go with that. We'll just build two of them. That should be more than sufficient. Actually, if we're going to take two underwater torpedo tubes, let's put some torps on these things. Just because, we can. Torps in the nose, torps in the arse, torps in the sides. And let's go... Oh, we haven't got 20 inches available. Tech 19. We can get an 8-inch torps. 88, 41, up to 2. Yeah, that'll do. We'll go with that. Yeah, the time period for the game, as far as I've been able to tell, obviously it's still in development. I'm not sure how far they're going to go, but it seems to be turn of the century through to about halfway between World War I and World War II. Talking about the 1930s seems to be some of the newest stuff. Possibly, very early World War II. They may expand that even further, but that's the period you're playing at the moment. Alright, so we're playing as the United States. That's randomly assigned. We have 2 battle cruisers, and we're attacking the Italian Empire. 8 transport ships. Alright, so we have the Illinois and the Boston. So ship names are automatically assigned. I'm sure we'll be able to rename them at some point. For the moment they are, and we are running in convoy. Where are our targets? Ah, I see. Oh, we should have put better towers on. I had a little bit of extra space. We have to find them. I think we've got to find them. That's the challenge of this one. So I don't actually have any detection equipment, so we just have to sail at this point and hope we actually find this enemy convoy. Anyways, we can zoom in and actually have a little bit of a look at it close. So, there are our fleets. These over here. Just shadow, or? I think that's just shadow. Oh, apparently we found the ships. Right, that's lucky. I was actually going to get a little concerned there that we might have to go back out and set up new towers. So, let's turn the entire fleet, and these will remain in convoy. They're following line astern. Guns automatically fire. You can select the target, but the guns will already automatically fire in sequence. You do have a couple of options down here though. So at the moment we're running on auto shells, so the ships will individually choose between AP and HE depending on what it thinks is appropriate. Because we actually have ammo loads, which are all counted in over here at the moment along with our reloads, we can choose to have the guns fire aggressively, so we can spam the shells out as quickly as we can, fire normally, or hold until we are absolutely sure we're going to get a hit, or have an extremely high probability of actually getting a hit, or we can just tell our ships not to fire while they're enclosing. At this range with these guns, I think they're pretty safe to open up. We're actually already scoring hits over here. We can also break the ships off, so I'm going to keep them in line astern at the moment. One will just follow the other, but I can break the ships off and control them individually as well. So let's take a look. What we got. And this is obviously our damage screen. So we're getting damage from this ship at the moment. We don't actually have its name and details. As we close in, we'll get more. Looks like we had a good penetrating hit on the front. We've got flooding in front, damage through the top decks, and damage definitely in the front section, which is also displayed in 3D. A Yamato class hull. I had no idea that was actually available. Alright, I need to play further into this. I'm very interested in this now. Well, I was very interested in the first place, but I'm really interested in progressing far further into it. Yeah, if it's playing to the end of World War II, that's fantastic. Hopefully there'll be aircraft carriers involved as well at some point. Looks like rather like Liberty ships. Yeah, it does, although apparently they're Italian and we're Americans, so... But it is supposed to be a transport fleet at this point. Oh, you've had some big hits. So, alright, so let me look at the damage for this one. Oh! I think we hit something. Alright, so from the rear of the ship up to about its midsection, we're flooding. Flooding looks like it's filling the one in from the rear compartments at this point, and basically the entire ship is burning inferno. So I think that one might be a bit screwed. I almost feel like telling the ships to stop shooting that one. I'm pretty sure it's already dead. But we'll keep closing in. So we're still holding 30 knots here at the moment. So fair hauling us close in. Bit of timing acceleration. Let's go 3 times. Actually, let's go 5. I want to get the secondaries engaging here as well. This fleet won't engage. This is the first time engaging a convoy. That's where I was up to in the sequence, so they're not shooting at the moment. The mission after this one, I'm pretty sure they're going to have escorts, so we'll have to deal with those. This is, however, a pretty good opportunity to see how the damage actually works. So Once again, massive penetration. You can see the fire from the decks and exactly where they are. You can see where the flooding is, and the ships will list based on where the penetrations are. If the float level drops, the ships will just break apart if you break them structurally. So the damage modelling on the ships is actually pretty impressive. And it does take into account angling as far as I've been able to tell up to this point. A couple of the early ones I built some pretty bad ships and was able to survive by continually angling against. Although, we are getting some fire back, so obviously these things do have some fire. Yeah, they definitely are shooting back. Yeah, I didn't even notice. What will they have? Let's see if we can get a bit of zoom in here and see if we can find out. It's got to be small. These are all cargo ships, so won't have anything major on them. Let's see. No armament. It's only got 4-inch guns. That's why I didn't even notice we're under attack at this point. I'm basically coming at them with, I suppose, Dreadnought equivalent of fast battle cruisers. And I'm getting shot at with 4-inch guns. 4-inch. Nothing. 4-inch. Yeah. No damage on the Boston. The Illinois seems to have had its paint scratched just around the center, the rear funnel. Hey Stark, how's it going, mate? Right, so I'm just going to speed things up here a little bit. I want to get in amongst these and get these secondaries fully working over. So let's make the turn in. Oh, yeah, we're starting to take them out now. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, let's separate the Boston off. No. Illinois, I want you to go that way. Boston, you are separated, and I'm going to have you come down the other side and just box them in and take them all out. It's actually pretty cool when you get all of them firing off at once. The ships just disappear inside of their own smoke. So we actually are taking some damage. Relatively close. We're taking some minor damage to the funnels. Nothing too concerning at this point. That was Kingston over here. She's not going to be long for this world. Torpedoes. That was a torpedo impact. Do we have any more side torps fire at this range? Yep, there we go. Torpedo in the water, so that's from our underwater torpedo tubes that we fitted right at the end. A 20-inch torp, that should be it. Yeah, that should be basically it, I think. Right, slow us down to 12 knots here so we can tighten up this turn. I don't want to actually ram anything. Hey, the Devil Risen. Yeah, not too bad. Just sinking this pesky fleet at the moment so we can move on to something that's actually got more than prop guns. Carolina over here is still actually floating, which is kind of impressive. I'm pretty sure she's the one that took the pounding right at the start, long range. So once I've managed to do a little bit of avoiding here, I'm going to swing the Illinois back and we'll have them boxed in and we'll just rip the convoy apart. And that should be the completion of this mission, I think. short of some mopping up. Mission says no torps, Mags tells Mission to get fucked. Yeah, pretty much. Well, hey, if it's going to say, oh no, you can't fire torps, and then give me the ability to fire torps, I'm going to use the bloody torps. Speaking of which, we should maybe get a launch. Nope, apparently not. Alright, let's see what the Boston's doing over here. Boston still hasn't taken any damage at all. And Boston has got torpedoes out again. Alright, switch targets because that one is done. 20-inch torp hits. It's over. Damage control. Carolina's just about done over here. Yep, there goes Carolina. Let's slow you down to drop to 8 knots at this point, otherwise we're going to exit before we have a chance to finish off our targets here. I've actually got some that are managing to stay up somehow after the raking over the coals they just got. Turn away. Right, so what are we at on the Illinois? 94% structure, flotation is still fine. Yeah. Nothing but a light deck fire, nothing major overall. Low latency mode is causing some epic buffering. Yeah, this is why I'm recording this secondary. I'll cut it together and upload it a little bit later on after we do a couple of these. I just want to keep this one as a fairly short stream. I'm just obviously doing that much in course at the moment. I haven't had a chance to do much in the way of videos. So, and I've got a whole bunch of stuff that I've got to get editing this weekend. Because it doesn't help that the kids are still a bit unwell as well. Yep, they all hit. Now, I'm not as big on ships as I am on planes, but I'm pretty sure when the entire ship appears to be burning and there's water everywhere, that's a pretty fair sign that she's fucked. Kind of painful. And yep, there we go. Okay, so she's down, and it's just mopping up the ships that are left, really. What do we got? Your ride is up. Throw is up. Sinking. Now, I'm not fond of this. I'm actually going to do a little bit of a crossover here, so I might adjust our courses here, take us back to 30 knots. Yeah, well, the idea of this is, Devil, is that it's not World of Warships. You're not handling a single ship. Right now we're dealing with a fleet of 2 ships. It's not particularly large. Long term, this game is designed to deal with, you might have 15, 20, 30 ships to manage all at once. Now, if you had to individually manage the damage control on all of these ships, while you're also trying to engage a fleet of similar size and trying to manage the maneuvering in the weapon systems of all of those ships all at the same time, it would be a nightmare. So some of the basic systems, you have to assume that the crew on board is going to do their job and take care of things like fires, and they will address flooding, and they will automatically start repairing the engines and try and save the ship if they can. They'll handle all the systems, the key systems of fighting the ship on their own. You just have to give the overarching orders, make sure they get where they are, and of course, one of the key things in this particular game is design a ship that isn't crap in the first place so it gets the job done. Now the only thing I'm concerned about here is we might actually fail this mission because we've only got 17 minutes to sink them all. We've got 1:56 remaining to take all of these out, and they're just, despite the pounding they're getting, some of them are just hanging on. Try sinking. Start shifting. Come on, guys, she's right there. She's on 0% structure. Finish her off. Fine, change to it. This on Steam? Currently, no. It's dealing through its own. There we go. It's dealing through its own website, but it will be on Steam long term. They're just not putting it up until it's a little bit further out. At this point, it's essentially still sort of in alpha. Although it's entirely playable at this point. It seems their alpha. It might be in beta. They're somewhere in there at the moment. As I said, I've only started playing this a few hours ago. But essentially, it seems that most of the basic mechanics are in and functioning at this point. It's content that they're adding, which, isn't a horrible way of doing things. I wish more would do it rather than forgetting about the content and just getting the game out. So, what's interesting is I keep seeing secondaries keep setting fires in cargo holes. No ammo, critical stuffs. You will get hits. Most of these are just armed cargo ships, and we got that with 6 seconds remaining. Okay, so we finished that one. So these are mostly cargo ships, so we're lighting up the internals, so that actually makes sense. Once we actually start engaging other warships, you do get ammunition explosions. If you happen to hit a citadel, it's the fireworks are pretty impressive. Alright, armed convoy attack. So essentially the same mission again. 24, yep, we've still got the same budget for what we can actually build, but this time the enemy fleet is going to have battleships and we have an hour to actually complete this. Alright, so guns and fire control, shells and torpedoes, maneuverability and survivability, more funds. It's only 3 million on more funds. Gun range 4.5, shell penetration 20%, HE shell fire chance plus 25. We're going for shells and torpedoes. I want those fires. Yeah, it's alpha at the moment. They seem to be going for quality over speed. Yeah, that's pretty much my impression of this so far. So, what are we going to do this time? Well, we went for the went for the 2 battle cruisers last time, so armored cruiser. I wonder what we're going to be able to do with this one. We'll start off main tower, secondary tower. Place these in towards the center, so go for 2s. Main guns. We're engaging battleships this time. Center lines. We only go up to 11 inches. Maybe we do want the bigger hulls. If we're engaging enemy BBs, we're probably going to want the bigger hulls. Which means we're going to be down to, well, yeah, 2 ships is all we're going to be able to build. Let's go for some advanced towers. This is one. Let's place it. One in. That'll work. Alright, main guns. Centerline guns. We only get up to 13s. Ah, of course, we didn't take the fire control, so it's as big as we can actually get access to, but we've got the better guns. That's alright, well, 13s it'll have to be. 13s with twin barrels. And I want to place that in a little bit there if we can. What's our offset? Fall weight is at 9 forward, so we're pretty balanced there. If you put on barbettes, you might be able to go for more main guns, and if you go small, you may be able to put in more secondaries. Yeah, this is true. I probably should. Something a little bit larger. Overlaps with border. Not sides. Oops. Centerline mains 13. What can we fit up on top of that barbette? 12s, maybe? Nope, no 12s. No 10s. I wonder if we'll only pull out of the side guns. Ah, be secondaries, of course. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm after. So we get 8s. That's not horrible. Cost is up at 41% though, so there's not a huge amount else we're going to be able to do with this. Could potentially be able to shorten the ships. No, not with 41. Not at 41%. We won't. If we shrink the displacement, the cost isn't going to drop significantly enough. That's alright, we'll deal with 2 ships. I can deal with 2 ships. Funnels, alright. So I'm going to have to keep the cost down as low as we possibly can here. Although, we can go for standard. Well, yeah, we should be fine with standards. Go with standards. We can go with 2 standard funnels. Actually, maybe we can just fit a small set. That works. Okay, that works. Now we're at 104 over, so we will have to increase displacement. That is fine, although we will be able to drop some weight. Krupp 2. Cemented armor is evolved variant of Krupp Arta. Slight changes in alloy composition increases the elasticity of the rib plates. It's plus 160% to armor cost, plus 80% strength, but negative 30 to weight. So that works. That works. That fixes the problem. Secondary guns. Side guns. What have we got? 13. We get 10 inches on the sides. We only get 2 inch in the casemates. Is there anywhere else we can fit any 8 inches? Nope. 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 What about 4s? Anywhere else they'll let us? Nope. No, nothing there. Damn, I was hoping we'd be able to get a few more on there. So a couple of 2s for close range. Torpedo launchers. 1 underwater torpedo tubes. 5 deck torpedo tubes. Alright, those interesting. $500. $47, getting pretty close. So 5 on deck. And we can increase up. No, close that. No. Go away, please. Ah, damn it. It's not popping down. There we go. Okay, so we can get that up to... Actually, we can take up to 22s. $53, we only get one, it's too expensive. Up to... Still only going to get... We've got to drop to 19-inch torps to get the 2 standard. So with 5 torps, that's probably not worth it. Probably better to stay 15-inch. And can we get... We can. Enhanced reloading and... Advanced hydraulics. Very nice. And let's... And we're still on 2. 50% almost on the dot. So we've got 2 battle cruisers. Could use more. Pull the range back. Can I get that up to... Yeah, we can. Up to standard bulkheads. We want more. Because we're going to be dealing with 2 battleships here. So we're going to take some serious return. Now, this has some crazy firepower. I hope so. I want to do some serious damage here. 4-weight offset. We're 6.7% heavy in the nose, which is okay. With the bulkheads we've got, we should be fine. We don't... Cost-wise, I would like to install a torpedo belt, but we can't really afford it. We could probably get it on weight, but I'll drop to a single battle cruiser, and I don't want to do that. Same as I would like to have bigger than 15-inch torps. It would be nice to have some serious secondaries if we get into a close fight. But it's like some serious sized torps if we get into a close fight. But we'll have to deal with the fact that we've got 5 15-inch torps rather than the underwater launchers that we had before. So that should be better. Rangefinder. What can we fit in here with some... 20 gun aiming speed, 4% base accuracy, 15 long range accuracy, 10 gun aiming speed. Nah. The second we do that, we push ourselves over, which I sort of suspected we would. Alright, so that's what we're going to go with here. So, lots of firepower. So, armament for this one is 2 dual 13-inch guns, 2 dual 10-inch guns, 1 dual 8-inch gun, and 6 2-inch guns plus 2 5-deck torpedo tubes at 15-inch torpedoes overall. Alright, we'll go with that for the moment. What's the worst that can happen? Since this is a scenario, not a campaign, no need for anything but minimum range. Yeah, I probably should have dialed all that back, but it does seem like cheating, doesn't it? If you don't have, at least some range involved there on a ship like that. Alright, so the enemy team, 2 battle cruisers, 1 heavy cruiser, 2 light cruisers, and 6 transports, and we have 60 minutes to sink them all. Oh god, it's a mixed armament meme all over again. Alright. Well, at least we can see the fleet straight off the bat this time. It's got better towers in. And we're already engaging, apparently. Nice. What is the maximum range on this? I didn't even check. Only 7 kilometers. Respectable for what's supposed to be a turn-of-the-century dreadnought, I guess. Yep, 60 minutes to sink the transports. Whoa, what is the range on our torpedoes? We've already launched a spread. See that? I've never had the ships drop torps this early. You didn't. Alright, this must be some Must be longer range than I expected. See. Torps. Rate of fire. Torpedo speed 52 knots. 20 launches, 0 damage. Range 14 kilometers. Wow. Alright, fair enough. Can your ships run out of ammunition? Yes, they absolutely can. If you look across here where the cursor is, you can actually see the ammunition counts for each of the current guns. So the 2 inches currently have 3,000 rounds, or 3,000 shells on board. We're carrying 30 torpedoes overall, 274 for the 8-inch guns, 354 for the 10-inch guns, and 274 shells for the 13s. You can run out of ammo. You can also see the reload times down here, what they're actually targeting, what they're firing on, and the works. That's all of your weapons down here. So let's have a look at this fleet now we're sort of getting close enough. Got a Brave destroyer trying to make a pass through. This is all... Actually, no, this might be smoke from the destroyer. You can drop smoke as you have. That sounded like a hurt. Oh no, I need to like it. You can drop smoke, although that might be from the guns. No, that's definitely smoke from the cruisers. Alright, so that's, yeah, they're trying to hide up a little bit here. Yeah, I'm just going to continue in a straight line. I'm just going to watch... Oh, our DD is upgraded to a light cruiser. Smoke from those forward guns. It's quite a pretty game too. Like I'm pretty impressed overall. In fact, after playing this, there is an Age of Sail version of this, as I understand it. I haven't played it, I haven't seen it played, but I'm thinking about picking it up. So, how are we doing? 99 structure. We've taken a couple of dings, but it's mostly just scratching the paint. Although, a bit of a hit up here. Forward gun. I'm going to vary speed and heading. Just slightly. Like our torpedoes didn't hit anything, but I do like the fact that our battleships torpedoed the hell out of the smoke. As somebody who plays World of Warships every now and again, that amuses me. I like that. The question is, were they actually trying to aim at something, or did they just torp the smoke? Because you torp the smoke. I'm just going to assume that it torped the smoke. Yeah, the AI, from what I've seen so far, is actually reasonably good. I was doing a couple of battles earlier on that are, one battleship that you create versus 2 destroyers that are trying to sink you. And I managed to take them both out, but it took a hell of a beating. They were, coordinating and alternating attacks. One would clear so the other one could torp, one would torp and get me to turn, and then the other one would fire torps once I'd started the turn, or initiated the turn to avoid the first torpedoes to try and, crossfire me, and it was... I was thinking a couple of times there that the AI in this game, even in its current state of development, is better than most of the World of Warships players that I've seen. Or at least better than the teams that I've been playing on recently. Make our turn back, and let's drop the speed down to half again. I don't want to break the formation this time like I did last time. It just allows them to focus the ships down one at a time. I just want to keep the convoy. I'll only be braking unless I have to. Alright, so Pennsylvania over here is pretty cactus. And rudder's damaged, so we'll be able to keep laying on her. Little Rock. Morton, these are the transports over here, and there is one of the BBs. Florida. Yeah, see, it's not carrying a stupid amount of firepower or anything either, is it? Alright. And those, yep, we are going to make some sharp turns here. Oh, maybe it was just the water. I thought I had torpedoes spotted then. Right, so we'll make a sharp turn in and then we'll make a sharp turn away anyway. It's a smart move since their cruisers are backing off and I'm sure they've got torpedoes. Destroy casemates. Right, Pennsylvania is just about down. We can get rid of the Pennsylvania or I will start... It's probably an idea to start turning back now anyway. And then break the fleet away a little. I know that HMAS Warspite, according to Wikipedia, at least managed to hit an Italian warship at 24 kilometers range. I doubt it was very common though. Yeah. Radar fire control systems help, but long-range engagements, even engagements at the ranges that the World of Warships shows on some of the, in particular, Japanese battleships, wasn't common. You know, there was a reason that aircraft wound up replacing battleships, because it turns out hitting a moving target from a moving target on a moving surface at, 24 kilometers with essentially an oversized rifle is actually quite difficult to do. While getting a plane to drop a bomb from above that target, substantially easier. Even they missed everything, or fairly regularly, to be honest, but it's still substantially easier, substantially more effective, and the ship that you're launching your attack from doesn't even have to be within weapons range. So. That was the biggest downsides to the Yamato, by the way. Effective range was stupendous, but basically impossible to use because they didn't have good enough fire control. Yeah, I can see that. Most didn't. I mean, I don't claim to be anywhere near as knowledgeable on ships as I do on aircraft, but as I understood it, good radar fire control systems were relatively rare, and the kind of long-range shots, or the kind of systems that would be needed for long-range engagements, really only started to show up at the point when the battleship had almost been replaced on some of the ships towards the end. The Missouri and the like had some pretty good systems for long-range engagements, but by then the aircraft carrier had already proven itself. I really don't like the fact that I'm sailing broadside to this entire fleet, so... Although I'm not taking much here. 98% on structure, float fine. It's basically just dinging the hull at this range. So the BB appears to... It's not really moving to engage, it's just hanging back with the transports. It's the poor cruisers that are taking the hits at the moment. Put her down. Poor Pennsylvania's had enough at this point. One more good salvo, finish her off, and we can move on to another target. Not to mention that battleships are completely pointless with long-range guided missiles, nukes in play. Yeah, but that wasn't World War II. Long-range guided missiles. The closest thing we really had to a guided missile in World War II was the wire-guided smart bombs that the Germans practiced, and they didn't use a hell of a lot of those. They were very experimental. They worked. I can't remember the designation for them, but they worked. And obviously a nuke was used to finish the war, so by that point, you know, the aircraft carriers replaced the battleship in a conventional means long before smart weapons showed up to essentially finish the job. Although, having said that, even with nuclear weapons and missiles and the whole works in play, Missouri was recommissioned and sent into the Gulf in the 90s. She was used to shell shoreline. She was an active service ship in the Gulf War. She was used to shell shorelines, and they modified her. I believe she had Patriots installed all over her. She had just basically anti-ship missiles and surface-to-air missiles attached, because it turns out a ship the size of the Missouri actually has a lot of deck room for guided missiles. I mean, who would have knew? And yeah, she did a job pretty well. Blew the crap out of everything inland, and was pretty scary to approach, and then she went back to dock. Which is why if you do the Missouri tour now and you actually go through her, most of her fittings inside are actually late 80s, early 90s, because that was the last time she was in service. And she's still technically in a position at the moment that they can pull the museum out of her, and she could roll back out and be redeployed. She'd need an upgrade again, but like, she could do it. Yeah, but massive guns versus static targets equals fun. Yeah, I'm not going to deny that. Gave us some fantastic footage of the Mighty Mo actually firing as well in, you know, the 90s equivalent of high quality. Alright, so Pennsylvania is finally going down. We've got Little Rock cruising around here at the moment. So I think it's actually time we start closing our distances here a little. I want to try and get in on those two BBs, although they're grouped up really nice. We've got Washington, it's Washington and Florida, and they're right on top of the same. Is the game giving them the same class? Yeah, they do look like the same thing. And just looking at that flooding on the Washington here, I reckon the Washington got hit by one of our torpedo soldiers. She's got some serious flooding down the hull. Already down to 49%. We barely scratched her on the rest. She might be about knackered. It won't be much to put her down. One more good hit. 97, 100, 100, 100. Okay, so our fleet's still pretty good at this point. See, I'm going to do a sharp cut in, and I'm going to head straight in for the BBs and try and rip Little Rock here and this transport up on the way through. I do need to watch for this cruiser over here, however. It may be torpedo equipped, and I do not want to get my arse ripped open. Battleships could make a comeback, but the cost would be hilarious and might not be all that worth it. No. I don't think so. Like, even with railguns, I don't think battleships will come back in. They're too big a target, too high a value an asset. I mean, an aircraft carrier you can sort of get away with, because in the end it needs to have enough space to be able to launch and recover aircraft, so it sort of needs to be massive. There's no real way of getting around that, short of having VTOL everything, which just isn't practical for some aircraft and some applications. But with modern systems, you know, rifle guns, or, you know, even giant smoothbore bloody 20-inch guns are not overly useful against missiles anymore. Computer-guided and, you know, radar-tracked, satellite-guided, GPS-tracked bloody railguns could be potentially powerful, but because you're dealing with essentially a recoilless weapon, you don't need a battleship to mount something obnoxiously large with a railgun on. You can have a ship the size of a cruiser that has the ability to deliver a shot that would do damage that the main batteries on the Missouri could never achieve, while still being lighter and much more maneuverable. I think the Steelworks would make clap their greedy little hands at the prospect of battleships making a comeback. Look, don't get me wrong here. I would love to see battleships sailing around again, but just you gotta sort of think about it from a practical standpoint. Oh, thank you very much. What do we got? Yeah, look at the size of modern cruisers. British CV size versus American CV deck size. Yeah, when British CVs were built around the Harrier, and now they're looking at the F-35s with VTOL capability. The VTOL F-35s are going to be perfectly fine for what they're used for. But, you know, if you want to get real serious payloads up, you're going to need something that goes off a cat and needs a wire to actually stop, in which case you need deck space. If you went to a pure VTOL Navy Air Force, the CVs that the US are building would be ridiculously oversized for what you actually need. But there's downsides of that. The only reason to have battleships is to have the Marines have cheap sea-based artillery as opposed to using expensive guided missiles. See, yeah, that's entirely true. The biggest limitation there, however, is that those artillery are only useful for, say, modern guns, 20 to 30 kilometers. That's about all you've got practical range inland, and from that point on, you're going to need access to an aircraft carrier to be able to perform the strikes, which I suppose there's still some argument there to potentially build the ship, but would you actually have to build a battleship for that? Or could you build just a dedicated artillery cruiser for that? So we've got fire here. 95, 100, we're still going well, and I'm still not seeing any torpedoes in the water. I have been paying attention. I'm sort of ignoring the transport. Whoa! I didn't notice that, however. Yeah, I was right. The Washington was going to go down. And it looks like the Salem's gone as well. I completely missed this. Yeah, 85% structure float to zero. She took a volley of torpedoes and was just taking on water until she went down. We were barely trying to engage her, so that's a lucky shot. Right, so Salem's down, Washington's gone. If we take out the Morton here, merchant ship, they've really only got this battleship left over, so if we just take care of this, we can go through and directly engage the battleship, and we're just about done. We're about 40 minutes, taking about 20 minutes at this point. You just sunk their battleship. Yes, I did sink the battleship. I wasn't expecting that. Well, I sort of was from what I saw before, but like that was not planned. That was just the ship saw an opportunity and fired them off, and you know, luck happened. God, this poor transport's knackered, there's nothing. Apparently a torp just barely missed my ship that I actually did miss. So much for paying that much attention. Right. And there goes the Morton. Alright, so at this point, what I'm going to do is we are going to break off. Aww, what a waste of torps. Alright, let's bring them around. And we'll split them up and see if we can box in this battleship and be done with it. Cruise missiles are a far better argument there. CVs and aircraft are expensive, a missile cruiser is far less so. Yeah. This is true. This is true. Really cheap depending on what nation's navy you are as well. I still can't get over the stories of the early Cold War Russian missile cruisers, the ones that would actually sink themselves if they had to fire their own payload. Apparently the bottom of the missile launch tubes for their the guided missile cruisers went directly onto the hull, and when the missiles would fire off, it'd actually rip the hull apart underneath, so in the process of firing the missiles they would kill themselves, which is freaking hilarious and sorta kinda unsurprising for the time. Torps going to hit. Yep, it looks like we're going to have a double torp attack as well. These BBs are having a bad day. Oh, and that's right after as well. So Florida's took 2 in the rear. Flooding in the rear compartment. Looks like steering is out, so she's stuck in a straight line. Those 5-shot torp launchers that I put on right there at the end may just have been the single best investment that I put on these ships. They have outrightly sunk one of the battleships by pure accident. God knows how much damage they've done to the rest of the fleet, just lobbing torpedoes all over the place. And they just ripped the arse out of the second battleship. I want those on every ship that I build from this point on. These are fantastic. From Tel, as for surface ships, at some point I think we will get drone carriers. I absolutely think we will as well. I'm not fond of the idea, don't get me wrong. But I think, yeah, that's the way things are going. As we keep running to try and build a better aircraft that can go faster and is more aggressive and can pull more Gs and can maneuver better and can carry more payload for a longer period of time, more and more and more, the weak point in the aircraft is becoming the pilot. And the systems necessary to support the pilot in flying the plane. So, yeah, I think we're probably only 20 to 30 years away from having the pilot come out of the plane as well, full-time. We're already starting to see some Generation 5 aircraft. The British one they're building, which basically the knockoff F-22, looks like it's going to have the ability to be able to fly remotely without a pilot. Not for combat, at least they haven't said for combat at this point, but just for moving it around if they need to, just getting it from point A to point B. They may not actually need a pilot in it. It can be flown remotely, or at least that's part of their plan in its development. So yeah, I don't think we're overly far away from having the pilot replaced. Oh, come on. She's keeping the nose. We have to side. Just trying to get her into a crossfire at the moment. If I can get the cruiser around here, she'll keep turning to follow. I can get the side over here and we'll... Oh, there we go. We're getting shots in the rear now. Alright, 57% structure, 75% float. And that will leave our cruisers basically smack bang in the middle of our of this transport fleet, so we'll be able to rip it apart from the inside. Getting secondary fire off the other side, even though we don't have this guy targeted, although I'm thinking we might have to switch off. So otherwise we're going to keep just going the rounds here at the moment. Yeah, it's just a side shot. And that was some more torpedo impacts. Float 60. And dropping fast. Hull is filling up with water. That may have been the shot that killed Florida. Yeah, so battle cruisers, and at the moment the most dangerous weapon on them appears to be the torpedoes. Maybe I should have just gone with torpedo boats. I'm actually going to shift fire off here. And there goes the Florida. And that is the last escort, so we've pulled the fleet apart. Now it's just a matter of pulling apart the rest of the ships, so let's drop the speeds down a little bit here, because we're going a bit fast. We don't need to worry about that now. What do we got? 3-inch guns, no guns, 3-inch guns, no guns, no guns. Yeah, these can be safely ignored. We'll just rip them to pieces. Lifeboats launching, the oil's forming up. No people animations, unfortunately. It would be nice to see survivors getting out, but I suppose having the boats is enough. Not a horrible sinking animation by any means. I'd like to see some breakup on the ship as well, but you are getting some pretty cool sound. Yeah, you keep turning. Try and get you before you run away. You're sinking, you're sinking. Take out the watts. This seems to be the last one that's putting up any resistance at all, and it's trying to run, although... Ow! Well, that's the end of the Babbitt. That was conveniently timed. Alright. Hit you next, yeah. Circle around, and that's this just about done. 31 minutes, so we're going to be just over halfway through the time we're allotted to take out this entire fleet. Overall, we're at 99-100. The Rosaro, 90-100. So we did that really well. Minimal damage to our ships, mostly just touch up of the paint and minor bodywork. Have you ever tested the collision modelling? Not yet. I've actually been actively avoiding ramming the ships into one another. I'm assuming it'll be alright. But I will have to find out at some point. And knowing me, I will find out at some point. I'll ram 2 battleships together and wind up kamikazing both of them. It's only a matter of time. There isn't ramming yet. Oh, that's disappointing. I thought there would be. The rest of the damage modelling for this so far has been pretty nice considering the development of the game. I really was expecting that would have been in as well. But no, it's still in development, so it's... yeah. Right, let's increase speeds a little bit here. There we go. That is the watts out. I was about to say, stop playing with your food. Let's run you to straight. There we go. 1 left. That's going to be a collision, so we'll just avoid that. Yeah, one ship left to go. You know what? Playing this, I've been thinking about it for a bit, because I'm really running out of stuff to do in Cold Waters at this point. The 1968 campaign that I'm playing at the moment is probably going to be the end of Cold Waters, at least for a little while on the channel. Just because there's not a huge amount else left for me to do. Short of, loading up the mod campaigns and trying to play through the mod campaigns. But the same developer also does Atlantic Fleet, and I've been looking at that, thinking about starting up a campaign on that, because I don't think I've ever actually had it on the channel before. Or at least not as its own thing. I think I've had it in the background of maybe one of the Rundown Unders, but that's been about it. This is making me think, yeah, I really need to do that. Getting in a lot into the naval stuff at the moment. There's a couple of other good naval games. I don't know if you've been paying attention to my social media, but there's another game in development that I've come across. I don't recall the name of it off the top of my head right at this moment, but I did a big post on social media about it. I'm actually trying to talk to the devs about putting up a bit of a video showcasing... Oh, God damn it, it's pissing me off that I can't remember it. There we go. Sinking? No, not quite yet. Still going. It's annoying me that I can't remember the name of it. Oh, I'll pull the name up before we finish this up. Is Cold Water still be looking after by the devs, or at the point where they said, yep, this is done, see you later? Yeah, it's a point that it's finished. The Pacific campaign was finished up. They're still doing updates and everything else for it, obviously, but it's just updates to maintain the game and maintain its functionality as new OS updates and everything else come through. It's a completed product. For some reason, people are getting the opinion that Cold Waters is going to become some kind of game by service type thing. It was never going to be. It was going to be, you purchase, it gets completed, once it's done, it's done. And the South China Sea campaign was sort of the completion of that. As I understand it at the moment, they are, however, developing another game. I've been told something Crimson Waters or Red Waters or something along those lines, and it is another more advanced version of Cold Waters, played entirely from the perspective of the Russians against the Americans. Don't quote me on that, I don't have any insider information. I've just had an anonymous chat with somebody who let me know that is something that is apparently going on at the moment, and I don't know any details beyond that. So I'm sort of hoping I'll hear about that fairly soon, because I want me some submarine action, and the issues that I've had with mods in the past have turned me a little bit cold to just modding Cold Waters. Anyways, there we go. That was that one complete. So that's the armoured convoy attack done. At this point, guys, I'm actually probably going to shut this one down. I don't know if you heard it before, but I think I heard one of my boys crying. They're both still sick at this point, so I might go down to the lounge room and have a poke around and make sure everything is all well and good, and then see if I can get myself a few hours sleep. If I can get another stable connection up, I'm probably going to do some more streaming, so I might try and get this up again in the next couple of days and have another play. Other than that, just let me know in the comment section for this video when it goes up if there's anything else you want me to stream. I've been thinking about either doing an XCOM 2 campaign or going back and doing another full campaign of Battletech. It's been a while since I've been playing that, and I've had a bit of an itch for it. Otherwise, yeah, I'm probably going to post some more of this, because this was fun, and I think this is probably the best laid-back way to actually go through and play through the rest. So what do we got next? Destroyer attack. Design a destroyer flotilla that can eliminate an enemy convoy and its escorts. The enemy has a strong cruiser for protection. Only torpedoes can harm it. You can use two types of destroyers, big destroyer leaders and standard destroyers, smaller displacement. Alright, that'll be a bit of fun for the next one. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this one, and until next time, take care.